He does great work, but I think they're under this impression that he alone is the one driving force that
like
can get them from point A to point B, and it's not fair to him, you know, because like half of them don't know how he works or the things that he has to deal with to gain, you know, the results for you know his friends and artists and stuff like that. And I feel like more people should really start paying attention to like the teams behind a lot of these success stories and the stories and what they go through, because you know, like, management isn't an easy thing for anyone that does it. I'm personally not a manager, so I can't speak from a personal perspective, but for like a lot of my label clients and things of that nature, like I've watched a lot of these managers, and you know, even on a national level, some of these managers are terrible. You know what I mean? Like, your representation really is a big key factor, and a lot of people just are willing to just put their man on, you know, or just somebody who's willing to take the role. And that's not always bad, but if he's trying to get the same results as you as a person, then it's probably not the person you need representing you. You know, like I feel like a manager should be not like a parent, but someone who can literally take care of a lot of the things that you need, and you're their priority, and you know they're spending a lot of their time of the day pounding the pavement to create, you know, relationships.
And most important,
get the money.
There needs to be something to manage.
Dart Adams is here.
Yeah. Somerville, Medford is my kryptonite. I have one of the worst sense of direction in history of Earth. Ask anybody. But you have to have something to manage, and not only that, there are a lot of people that ask, hey, yo, you a manager? Could you manage me? And I'm like, one, I don't have the connections. Two, I can't spend 24/7 on your career. What I do is I consult. You could ask certain people. I consult. I tell them what's feasible, what's not feasible, goals that they can look at and say, all right, this is something I can reach. Because the thing is that with the industry, especially right now, we're in an exponential age. And people have this thing where they see somebody else do something and achieve something and think they want to do something along those lines, not realizing, one, you don't have their audience. Who is their audience? How did they get it? Just because they have this many plays on Spotify doesn't mean you're going to get that. Spotify is going to be your way. On top of that, do you know if they have an in it Spotify? Do you know if they have a cheat code, anything like that? If you don't know that background story, then forget about it. Do what works for you. Who are you? What do you want? And like that's hard for a lot of people to really realize, because like, wait, they just think that I get a manager, I get a publicist, and all these things happen. No.
Now you have to work harder because someone else is relying on you too.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And also, if you get a new publicist, you have to realize, hey, we're in this together. We're gonna have to work our way up. So that means that if we're gonna build relationships, we're going to build a rapport with people. Like there are a lot of people I tell right now, it's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're going to start emailing people that know me who will open the email. And then I'm going to give them updates on what you're doing. And you might ask, so did we get a response? I already know. You might not get a response. But the next update 3 months from now, the next update 8 months from now, they're going to see these, I chained them together. So if something happens with that guy, they're going to look at those three emails that I already sent and look at the progression and be like, oh, I've been kept up to date. I've seen this. This is natural. Mm-hmm. This is a real progression from this artist. And I've seen the people that are on the bill with them. I do this on purpose because I want everything to be, I'm going to use air quotes, organic. Because organic doesn't mean the same thing it did back then that it does now. As organic as it can be in this space.
Right.
And that's how you know what you have to manage. You have to get to a certain space where there are enough people with that want this artist, that want to work with you, that want to do certain things, where there's something built where, all right, now there's something to manage. I'd rather work with somebody and get them to where they can find a manager rather than be their manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and things I've noticed, things do tend to start snowballing.
Yeah.
Once you start attracting, people in the same wave, and then they attract more, and it grows, it grows, it grows. That's a question though. How do you go about it if you're in a scene like this where the industry is lacking behind the talent? There's a lot of lack of professionalism.
Yeah.
We see it it hurts people every day. I see it. How do you go about finding that person to trust who has to learn to become a manager with you? What is the criteria there? Sometimes, I think you should bring in a professional, but sometimes you have to maybe have someone who is experienced in their role and then someone else who isn't, because a whole team, you need 5-6 people,
I look at it sort of in the way that, perfect example, I look at like sports analogy.